Good morning. You guys are in for a huge treat. And if you are walking to your seats, you're about to get a whole entire playbook on how to use video to change your world. So a lot of you guys know Ken Pozek because you've seen his viral 1 million view video of Shaq's house. Has anyone seen that? The Shaq's house video? Some of you guys know him because you're one of the 160 to 190,000 viewers per month on his YouTube channel. Some of you have seen some of his 400 plus videos on YouTube. And some of you guys are from Orlando, Florida, and that's how you know him. Has anyone here seen a Ken Pozek video? All right, that's incredible. So, Ken, welcome. I am so excited. We're about to dump in and just drop bombs.
Let's get in. I'm excited to be here.
Let's get in. Should we start with a video? Should we start with showing him an example?
Yeah, sure.
So we're going to start with an example of a video Ken does so that you guys can kind of visualize that as we breeze through all of the stuff we're going to breeze through. I really want to encourage you guys to get your pen and papers out because it's about to go fast. Dave Weldon, would you mind queuing up the video?
I've lived in Florida now for a little over 5 years, and there's some things that I wish that I knew that now I've obviously figured out. And so if you're thinking about moving to Florida, today we're going to run down a list of things that you need to know. Stay tuned. So there's 1,000 people that are moving to Florida every single day, and there's a lot of different reasons why. We're going to jump into weather and employment and a lot of different things, but let's start with weather. Probably the most obvious, but one of the questions that I get asked all the time. People coming from the north, and they're like, how hot does it really get? Well, it took me like 2 summers to get over the heat. Now, I wear jeans like pretty much every day. It's like mid-June. Yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of my staple at this point. It gets like November through April, it's the most perfect weather. And then from May till October, it gets pretty hot. Here in Central Florida, which is where I live and where I sell real estate, it gets about high 80s, but super humid. And so it rains a lot. About 15 minutes every single day in the summer. Other than that, it's like the most perfect winters that you could ever imagine. Much better than snow in Detroit, which is where I'm from, and probably where you're watching this from right now. One tip, if you're nervous about how weather is going to affect you. I moved down here in July, and it was like trial by fire. It was crazy hot, and then by the time it got later and later in the year, it was like, oh, this is like such a relief, right? And then you got 6 months of amazing weather. Try that out. So if you're coming to check out the area, maybe come in the summer, see if that's something that you can handle, and if you can, then Florida might be for you.
So that's a great example of a Ken video. So I kind of want to just lead everybody up to how we got here, because I think it's amazing what you've done in 5 years. And it would be easy to gloss over the fact that a lot of people might hear the numbers we're talking about and tune out. So 5 years ago, what did you do?
So 5 years ago, I was living in Detroit and selling houses. And then my wife and I were like, why do we live in Detroit? It's cold here and all that good stuff. And so we decided we love Florida, and like we're taking our kids down there all the time. What if we relocated and sort of start over? Like we didn't know anyone there, but we just thought, hey, this would provide a better life for our family, better opportunity, better just lifestyle in general. And so we just picked up and moved.
So you go to Florida and you basically start an entire real estate practice from scratch, right?
Yeah, the only people we knew were like Mickey and Minnie.
Perfect, good. How did you get into video in particular? What made you start with video?
So I was looking for, I first moved to Florida and I wanted to hurry up and ramp up my business as quick as possible. So I bought Zillow and I hired ISAs and I did all these things that were really expensive. And I was like, this isn't it for me, right? I wasn't getting enough like ROI. I wasn't making enough money quick enough. And I was like, all right, I'm losing money. I'm going to stop all of that. And at the time I was looking for something where I could have some more leverage in my life. And so a friend of mine in Jacksonville reached out and he's like, hey, I'm doing this YouTube thing and I've got like 1,000 subscribers. And every once in a while people reach out to me for this. I'm like, how much does that cost? He's like, it's free. Like you just grab your cell phone and go. And I'm like, I like free. I could do that. And so I committed to doing 100 videos in 100 days just to sort of figure it out. It was like me walking around doing builder model tours. And then at one point I did a video. It was like we were living in Celebration, Florida, which is the town that Disney built. And I was like, I could walk around and talk about where we live. People are Googling that kind of thing, right? And so we did a video, top 10 things we didn't know about Celebration Florida. The video took off, it got 40,000 views within a couple months, and people started calling us like every single day. And I'm like, okay, there's something here. So let's reverse engineer this and figure it out.
So buyers were calling you?
Mostly buyers at first, yeah.
Interesting. And then after that 100 videos in 100 days, you said you got calls, but how long did it take you to get calls?
So it was good 3-4 months before we started getting consistent calls.
Yeah.
And then it went from like 1 a week to 1 a day to now anywhere between 300 and 500 people a month reach out from our YouTube channel.
And they're selling between 12 and 15 homes a month straight from YouTube right now, which you own that. That is yours. That is your database. That is free. That you're not renting real estate from Zillow.
Oof, that's a good point. I mean, you're really building an asset, right?
Yeah.
So where if you're paying for Zillow or Realtor.com, as soon as you stop paying, the leads stop coming. Whereas I'm, on average, I get about 250 views an hour while I'm sleeping, right? And videos that I've done years ago are still getting views and still helping me convert more business while I'm sleeping. And so to me, it was like building that asset was pretty cool.
I mean, it's the ultimate definition of leverage, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, it's amazing. So after you did 100 and 100, what pace did you walk into after that?
So then I need to just slow down and understand, like, okay, it's not just putting out content to put out content. I think a lot of agents, where they might mess up is that they do videos for them. It's very much so like agent driven. I want to look awesome on video. And so I'm the best agent in the world and I'm going to tell you about it. Unfortunately, have anybody shot like a listing video before and it's gotten like 5 views and you spent $5,000 on it? Anybody? Like, yeah, people do that all the time. Yeah. And so it doesn't convert into business. And so I had to reverse engineer it and start talking to people that were doing well, even outside of the real estate space. And what they told me was, you need to start shooting videos where people are actually searching for that content. So instead of just, I'm a great agent or how to buy a house, it was moving to Florida, moving to Orlando, moving to these specific cities and the top 5 reasons why you should do so. And then when I started playing that Google algorithm, that's when the channel blew up.
Did you know anything about that before you went into this?
Not at all.
How did you learn?
YouTube University, free.
Yeah. Dr. Google, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So let's talk about content. So I do want to deep dive a little bit in here because I believe everybody in this room has enough content just by being a practicing real estate agent, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So how do you come up with it? What's the process? Help everybody here kind of decide how they should come up with content.
So I think the first thing you want to do is, if you're starting off with a lower budget, you can literally just go to google.com and start typing in your city. And the cool thing is Google's going to start giving you suggested searches based on what other people are already looking for. Then you can search and do video on what people are already searching for, right? And so you're not trying to recreate the wheel and just kind of create all of these ideas. Google is literally telling you that. If you want to spend a little bit of money, you can use a program called TubeBuddy or Morning Fame. Those are the 2 that we use to kind of search up, okay, here's our general keywords around Orlando or Florida. And then it'll tell you, based on this search, here's the 40 other things that people are also searching for. And then we just shoot videos around that.
And then, I know from podcast world, doing titles, like everybody loves lists. They love how to, they like lists. And so you just kind of incorporate some of those headline writing skills into content they want.
Yeah, exactly. So the top 5 reasons to move to Orlando, top 5 reasons not to move to Orlando, the pros and cons of different areas. Pros and cons are a great one. Moving to, if you live in Chicago, moving to Chicago, living in Chicago, all of those are very Googleable kind of videos. And here's the thing, YouTube is owned by Google. For those of you who don't know at this point, it's the number 2 search engine in the world. So a lot of us are going to YouTube to find something, to learn something, and they'll actually slow down and watch these long form videos in order to learn something. And then at that point, you become more of a fiduciary in their life, right? They're coming because you're their teacher and their consultant, not just another agent calling them because your information was sold to them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you're providing value.
Totally.
I mean, they're getting value out of what they're seeing and it's relevant. It's in close proximity to what they're thinking about. I think the other thing that's cool about you is you do like best tacos in Orlando, right? And like you do things which I'm guessing is listing leads.
Yeah, so we kind of started noticing that like 95% of our leads the first 2 years were buyer leads. And so we wanted to start taking more listings. And I said, how do I get in front of the people that already live in Orlando so I can be a resource for those people? So now we have different buckets. We've got our buyer bucket videos. And then like I do this whole thing called Coming to Orlando. So I dive into all of the local news sources and figure out where are the new restaurants opening, the new bars, where's the best tacos, where's the best cookies, what is it? And so now our listing leads have started picking up. And the cool thing is, we've been doing this now for 4.5 years or so. And the people that have been a subscriber for that whole time are like finally reaching out, hey, now it's time to sell, or my mom just passed away, I need you to sell their house. And we become that resource for them to go to, which is amazing.
Yeah, and you and I spent a lot of time talking about, you know, why YouTube. And I think we should talk to everybody and kind of get into that a little bit because, you know, that's the first thing I asked you. I was like, what made you choose YouTube and not Instagram Reels, not TikTok and whatever?
So I think Instagram and TikTok are fantastic ways to stay in touch with people that already know you. But if you're trying to organically get found, YouTube and Google are the way to do that. And so people aren't going to Instagram to figure out the best places to send their kids to school or the best neighborhoods in Dallas. They're going to do that on Google. And so what we do is we actually play both sides. It's like, hey, we're going to do this content, it's search-driven videos that people are going to find us at, get into our web. And then during the video, we're constantly pushing them back over to our Instagram. And so it's like, hey, by the way, I can't share everything with you about Orlando in this 10-minute video. But if you want to see some daily insights into theme parks, real estate, and life in Orlando, follow me over on Instagram. And as soon as we started doing that, I mean, we went from like 1,000 followers to 7,500 followers within a year. And the amount of direct leads that we get from Instagram now, it's like, 1 to 4 a day.
He gets 1 to 4 direct messages on Instagram a day that are direct leads. And I mean, I just want to emphasize again, these are not paid for.
No, not at all.
You've paved a foundation that you own. You have enterprise value in your business.
And the amazing thing is, like, it's not just leads that are reaching out. I was sharing with you, like, YouTube, I've got the benefit of hindsight looking back and saying that YouTube changed our life and our business, but it makes everything else easier. Like recruiting, our database, leads come in. Like I was sitting back there with Jay White and like I literally had somebody on Instagram reached out and they're like, hey, I've been following you on YouTube. I'm moving from Arizona to Orlando and I want to join your team. We get those direct messages every single day from agents all over. And so that content piece has been huge.
Well, and it's interesting, one of his videos, when you guys, and you have to get on his YouTube channel later when you have Wi-Fi to see it. One of his videos, he's literally filming and this guy pulls up in a car and goes, hey, I know you. I see you on YouTube. And he like interrupts the filming of the video. I think it's so cool.
Yeah, that happens all the time.
It's amazing. And I mean, you couldn't have known this going in, right? What do you think everyone here should do to get started? Like if we were going to kind of back up and walk into it, because I do want to start there a little bit. Your 100 and 100, like, was this just with an iPhone?
Yeah, so let's back up. So it was really like an iPhone and a DJI Osmo. It's just a gimbal. You can get them for like $100, $200 for the nicer ones.
Like a selfie kind of?
Yeah, it's like a selfie thing, and it just keeps your phone from vibrating, right? I drink a lot of coffee, and I'm always really shaky. So
this is why I like Ken so much.
And so it just makes it those cinematic kind of like easy look, right? And you're talking right into your phone, so you don't need a mic, and you don't need like all of this fancy, expensive equipment. I did that for the first 100+ videos just using my cell phone. And so I would start with a DJI or like an Osmo. From there, I would get it like an editor because I don't know about you guys, but we're trying to get our time back in a lot of this. I was editing everything myself, again, just trying to figure it out. But you can use like Upwork or Fiverr to edit these videos for you. So you're out just shooting, hey, here's like my neighborhood. Here's the top 5 reasons why people love living in this neighborhood. Once you shoot that content, then you get to send it off to an editor for like $50 to $100. It's really quite inexpensive.
How long do you recommend doing videos for?
Super good question. So we've always been told that the shorter the video, the better, right? Instagram, Facebook, they like, people's attention spans are way too short. On YouTube, it's completely the opposite. The goal is as long as you can while also keeping them there. YouTube rewards watch time. So meaning like if you shoot a 10-minute video and people watch 8 minutes of it, that's amazing. If you shoot a 10-minute video and people only watch 1 minute, then YouTube's going to stop pushing that out in the organic reach. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So your goal is to kind of continually refine the value proposition of your videos to make sure that you're keeping people's attention. And then after that, it's the longer, the better.
So if they're going to get their start, they're going to get their iPhone, they're going to get a gimbal, they're going to probably commit to, do you recommend the 100 and 100 to start?
I don't. I think you commit to one a week.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. There was no Ken telling me what to do. And so I was just trying to figure it out. I would go commit to at least once a week and get your roadmap out. You can literally just say, hey, for the next 3 months, here are the X amount of videos I'm going to shoot over the next 3 months. Get that all in your pipeline. You can batch shoot. You can go out like literally 1 day a month and shoot 3 or 4 videos at once, send that off to your editor, then you're good to go. So I'd start with 1 a week and then commit to it for at least 6 months. Like there's been people up here talking about farming. Who started a farm before? Okay. Now, how many of you have like sent one postcard and then dominated the farm? No, it doesn't happen. Yeah. But yet so many folks will put out one video and they're like, oh, it didn't work. It didn't go viral. Or they'll put out like 3 or 4 videos and, oh, I'm giving up. So for us, stick to it for 6 months and then track those results, and then you're going to refine it.
And it's the same thing with podcasts. For those of you who saw us on the podcast thing yesterday, it's not worth it unless you're ready to commit. How many hours a week do you spend on it?
So we time block every Thursday from 8:30 to 12:30, and we shoot 2 pieces of content. So now I've moved it up to where we put out 2 videos a week. And so we meet with my videographer, and then I shoot that time. I'm still doing all of like the topical stuff, like the titles and figuring out what videos are going to be. He shows up, edits it, and then kicks it back to me.
So how long did it take you to start hiring out? So you kind of went through that first 100 days. I kind of want to really get granular on results. So we have the first 100 days, and you start, you have your celebration one that gets a lot of views, and then you go to once a week. Can you kind of walk us through what the progression was for your business during that?
Yeah, so that first 6 months, it was essentially almost nothing, right? And then after that, it became.
But were you getting any feedback, or were you getting any views? Were you getting messages, or was it just nothing?
For the first 3 months, it was literally nothing.
Nothing.
It was literally like, I got to figure this out. I know there's something here. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I'm going to figure it out. I'm just like not going to give up until it works. And so after 6 months, it was like a lead a week, and then literally after a year, it's been at least 1 a day.
Okay, so it's been 1 a day. At what point did you hire a videographer?
A year in, yeah.
Okay.
So after that, it was like, I had this gal, she lived in Nebraska. She was like $60 a video. And we did that for the next year and a half. And then I brought on this videographer. And I found a videographer. A lot of people ask me, like, how do you find a good videographer? Like, if I'm at the point where I could commit to somebody and hire somebody, what does that look like? If you're following people in your own town, like if you live in Dallas, like hashtag Dallas photographer or hashtag Dallas videographer, and look at their work on there, it's really easy to start sourcing great people. And a lot of them are just looking for consistent work. Like if you've got a wedding videographer that only works weekends, you've got somebody now that you can help fill their gap of their week by working with you on Monday, Tuesday. So it's really actually quite easy to get down that path.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't think about that. So I'm guessing that based on the time you're spending now, I'm guessing you spent more up front because it was newer and you weren't as good, right?
Yeah.
So at the very beginning stages, how long can these guys expect to be really spending on video a week, 1 video a week?
I would say that you're gonna spend about an hour doing your search, like figuring out what the videos should actually be about. Like slow down and figure out, is this something that is getting some relevant search traffic? Is this gonna be worth your time? And then after that, you're probably shooting for another 2 hours and then send it off to an editor. Once you get it back from the editor, you're going to have to work on your titles and thumbnails, which is probably something we should talk about next.
Then let's talk about that.
All right, great. So like once you shoot this video, it's that it will rank, and you could create the most amazing video ever, but if it doesn't actually show up in the search results and people don't actually click on that little picture, which is a thumbnail, then it doesn't matter, right? And so slowing down and understanding how Google works. So the title is massively important. You really don't want your actual characters to be longer than like 55 characters long for the title. And you want your search term, your keyword phrase in the title in some way or another. So if it's moving to Orlando, don't make it, why Orlando is great. Put it moving to Orlando. If you have a new listing video and you want to dominate listings and you want to be like the go-to luxury realtor in your area, don't make your videos 123 Main Street. Talk about like oceanfront property in Newport Beach or whatever it might be. Like have it be a search term instead of going back to the actual listing address. Because how many people are actually searching an actual address?
No one.
Nobody is.
That's not how it works.
They're looking for like localized kind of stuff. So starting with the title is massively important. The second thing is getting those thumbnails right, because you could show up in the search results, but if nobody's actually clicking on that photo, it doesn't matter. So I use Canva is the problem. I mean, everybody's used Canva probably one time or another. Canva has templates in there where you can literally just type in YouTube thumbnail and it'll pop up. You drag your beautiful face in there and you're good to go.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
That's fantastic. Easy. How many subscribers do you have now on your YouTube?
25,000.
1,000. Wow. I'm just blown away by this. What do you wish, and you've kind of talked about it, but what do you wish you knew when you started?
I wish I would have known that I should do videos for other people first, right? So instead of doing it all about me and trying to show off how great I am, do the video for other people. Like you want to do like the Gary Vaynerchuk, like jab, 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 right hook. So you're coming in with value, 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 and then you're ending with the ask, right? So my videos don't start off with, hey, I'm Ken Pozek from Orlando, Florida, and if you're looking to buy real estate. I've been in it for 17 years, and I'm the best agent that you've ever seen. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, because at that point, people have bounced off. They're like, I don't want to watch some realtor talk about how great they are. You start the video off with, hey, today you're going to learn about the top 3 neighborhoods that nobody knows about that are like super popular right now. Stay tuned, right? And then you get into it, like draw them in a little bit, get them watching the video, give them a ton of value. And then towards the end, that's when you're going to go for the ask. Hey, listen, if you got any value out of this video today, I would love to be your real estate resource of choice. So make sure you just email me, info@pozekgroup.com, and we'll get started on the journey.
Yeah, and that's exactly what all of his videos are. I can't wait for you guys to get on there and kind of dive in. I think that there's an elephant in the room, if it's in a big room, and that is, I wonder, Ken, is everybody suited for video?
So I think everybody can do video in one way or the other. Is this for absolutely everybody? Probably not.
Yeah.
I think that there's going to be some people that are more for Instagram or more for open houses, and you're going to build your whole business on that. But I do believe that everybody could leverage this out with somebody on their team and grow a really big piece of their business.
But would it work as well? I mean, pushing back on that a little bit, I think the magic of this is people feel like they know you when they reach out to you.
That's true. So now we're at a place where I don't want to be the face all the time. So we've started bringing in other people on the team and people that are amazing at video, or at least on video. And basically I'm the linchpin, like, hey, listen, by the way, you're going to love working with Bree. Like if you go on my channel now, I'm introducing other agents onto the team.
I've noticed that.
So I can start pulling back. And that is working really, really well.
And then, and with that said, though, you're still on there controlling the brand, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you passing the baton to your team, but hey, it's also me. I am the brand, and I'm gonna maintain that.
That's right.
Yeah. What other advice do you have for everybody here? I think we have a lot of budding video. Anyone here want to start video that hasn't done it yet? Yeah, we have a lot of people that want to start it. We just gave you a playbook. I mean, the goal of this interview was so that you guys could take notes and have a playbook in 30 minutes, right? And so we're talking about starting right away and just jumping in with an iPhone and a gimbal, right? And then outsourcing editing pretty quickly.
Yep.
Did you do your own thumbnails? Did you outsource that too?
To me, it's like a little bit of a science that I enjoy doing, but you can definitely hire a VA to make it look amazing. There's people on Fiverr that do it for $5 and they look amazing. The other piece I would talk about is maybe the leverage and then what to do with your database, because who wants more business from their database? Yeah. We all should be doing like a 36 touch, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But how many agents are actually implementing it?
Are you using video for that?
We are. We're just basically taking the video that we do on YouTube and sending it out via Constant Contact with a few other pieces in there to engage our clients. Because at the end of the day, you can only talk about interest rates so much before one of your past clients is going to unsubscribe from your newsletter. So how do you keep our engagement up? Like we have a database, weekly database we send out with our videos in there, 17,000 people with over a 40% open rate. Wow. Like, so people are engaged.
And these are the videos you're doing on YouTube. So are you doing market update videos at all?
Not really. So I do a YouTube live every other week, and that's where I'll do an update. So I'll go on YouTube and just start streaming live, and I'll have hundreds of people show up to like ask me questions about the Orlando real estate market. So like, how hard would it be for you guys to actually get 300 people in a room for a buyer seminar?
Yeah, hard.
It's hard, yeah. But we do this every other week, and so that's the way that we play it. So that's in our email. Hey, if you have any questions about the Orlando market, Ken's going live this Saturday.
So you're effectively doing buyer and or seller seminars live on YouTube every other week with hundreds of people.
That's right.
I'm blown away. I'm blown away by this, Ken. I do kind of want to get a little bit more in the weeds since we have a little bit more time on content. Do you guys want a little bit more in content? I find that most people ask me the most questions on content. So if we're mapping out our avatar and we're kind of mapping out, can we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah,
you and I have talked about it.
I love this idea.
Kind of talk to them about target market and solving problems with the target market.
Yeah, so I think you're not going to be all things to all people. Yeah. And so you have to look at like, who's your ideal person? So the beautiful thing about YouTube and video in general is that you can target your perfect client, right? It's area driven. So if you want to get into the luxury market, you're probably not doing videos on the most affordable homes in X, Y, and Z. right? Because those are the folks that are going to reach out. It's going to be investors, first-time homeowners, right? So figuring out exactly who you're going after and then creating content for that person, like talking one-to-one to somebody is way better than talking one to, trying to make the message match everyone.
I love that. Let's talk about promotion a little bit. So, it's on YouTube. Do you pay to promote, or did you at the beginning pay to promote?
Not at all. So it's 100% organic.
And so it's just based on the algorithms.
It is, yeah. And so YouTube does a few things. It rewards consistency. And so if you're posting every single week, week after week, and people are coming back and watching that, it's going to start organically pushing you out more and more. And so you have to be committed to the process.
So the best way to grow your audience is to provide good content and, good thumbnails and just drive the viewers organically and be consistent with it.
That's right.
How'd the Shaq viral video happen?
So Shaq lived in Orlando. He played for the Magic, yeah. And he had this house on the market for 4 or 5 years. And it was started at $30 million and kept coming down. And so the third listing agent came along and I reached out to her. I said, hey, I know you've got this new listing. You're probably stoked about it. It hasn't sold and we want to make a splash for you. So what if I brought my videographer out and I did a video on it, right? And she's like, you would do that? What would it cost? I'm like, I'll pick up the cost. And she's like, that's amazing. Let's do it. So anyway, so we go out, we do the video. She tours it around with me. It's not even our listing. It's not even a Keller Williams listing. And so we go out there. It got 1 million views within 10, 11 months. Did I sell it? No, but I had multiple former Lakers reach out. We sold multiple multi-million-dollar homes from that video. And so that paid for our budget on video for the next 10 years.
It's incredible, what a viral video does and everything. Any last advice, anything we didn't talk about, Ken, that you want to share with everybody?
I would say if you're looking at going down this content journey, don't put your cell phone number on it. I wish I didn't, because I still get calls today from people that called me early on. So have a system in place as if you're going to scale this out. And so having a video or having a number that you can actually track to figure out, is there an ROI to video? When people are reaching out, how do I know it's because of video, right? And having that path. So at this point now, people reach out to our email or our ISA department, and they're typically like, hey, we want to work with Ken. We've been following him for a long time. This is our guy. And so our inside sales staff is trained to say, hey, listen, so tell me a little about yourself. They're former Disney people, so they're very exuberant and very excitable. And they're like, hey, so tell me about yourself. Why are you moving to Orlando? That's so exciting. And so they just talk about motivation and they dig into their story a little bit. And you know who Ken would want you to work with? I think Gio is a great fit for you based on everything that you talked about. When would be a good time for Gio to reach back so that we can book this appointment for you?
So good.
And it's been seamless, and our conversion rate's gone through the roof, but that's only because we slowed down to really figure out their journey, figure out who our avatar is, and then walk through that whole process.
You figured out their experience and what they were experiencing on their end.
That's right.
And what was attracting them to call in. That's incredible. I think that what I'm taking away from this is don't start this until you're ready to commit the time and finances to it. And I know that it's free, but it's not free. It takes time. It's going to take away from your business. Most of us are very busy and we're going to have to hire out, help for this, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that's what I'm hearing. And I really do think that some people, you guys all have your own unique personalities. And as you watch Ken's videos, he just leans into who he is. It's goofy, it's fun. Some of you are more serious, some of you are funny. It doesn't matter, but you don't shy away from who you are. You don't try to make them too polished.
Yeah, I think that people sniff out authenticity, right? In today's world, more so than ever. They don't want that polished teleprompter agent talking about how great they are or just reading something. They want to know. So we leave in some of when I make a mistake, we leave in some of those things, right? If I'm talking about how my family loves going to Disney or Star Wars or any of that, we bring those people because that's our avatar. That's who we are, right? That's who we're going after. So be yourself and don't try to be anybody else.
Thank you. Thank you, Ken Pozek. That was amazing.
Ken Pozek. Thank